Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Freelance Friday. I haven't filmed sitting down like this in a really long time, so I'm excited to be here, and I'll have a couple of little catch-up announcement type things at the end of the video. But for now, let's get into the 5 things that I wish I would have known before I started freelancing. Okay, so the absolute number one thing that I wish I would have known before I started freelancing was how to properly price my products and services. Did I do a video about this yet? I don't think I did, but I do have a podcast episode coming up once I launch. It's one of the first episodes that I recorded. My podcast will be launching in January. I'll talk about that more at the end, but maybe I'll do a video soon too about pricing. But since I don't have a resource available on that yet, what I will do is give you a really brief 101 on how I've learned to price my products. There's a few things that I keep in mind when it comes to pricing. First thing you have to pay attention to, and the most important thing, is how much money do you want to make. I can say all day that I'm gonna sell a course for $10 or I'm gonna sell a social media package for $100, but at the end of the day, that's not doing me any good if I'm still trying to dig myself out of whatever income that I'm making, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people price their products and services just to sell something. They're like, I just need to make a sale and get started. And I think that's pretty valid in the very beginning. I mean, that's definitely what I did. I definitely worked for very, very cheap when I first started out. But once you actually start making this a career and start getting serious about this, you have to really think about what you want your desired income to be. So there's actually a really cool calculator I found. It's on a journalist's website. So I don't really know where I found it. I was just like Googling my life away one day, and it will be linked in the description box. Open that up. But essentially what you do is you plug in, let's say I want to make You plug in, let's say that I want to make $80,000 a year. So the first thing to keep in mind is that revenue and profit are different things. So a lot of people think, okay, I want to make $80,000 a year. That means I need to sell $80,000 worth of services or products. That's actually false. You need to make a lot more than that because you have a cost of operating your business. So what this calculator does is it takes the number that you plug in that's saying that you want to make, and you add up all your expenses to run your business. So that includes like your social media scheduling tools, your office if you have an office, you know, all that kind of stuff, any subscriptions that you have to like Canva or like Photoshop or anything like that, and then it's going to spit out a number at you saying how much you need to make per year. And what you can do with that number is essentially divide that up to determine how much you really need to be charging per project and how many projects you need to take to actually make that income. And it's really important to get in this habit at the get-go when you start freelancing, because like I said, it's easy to just be like, oh yeah, I'll do this for $100. But like at the end of the day, the scheduling tool that I pay for, just one, I pay for many, many different things. But to run my business, one of the scheduling tools that I use, I think costs $50 or maybe even $100 a month alone. So me selling a social media service for $100 basically does me nothing. I may be making a $20 profit or something like that, which I could probably make that money easier and in a shorter time period by going and getting a second job at the mall. You know what I mean? So you have to keep those things in mind. And then the other 2 things, and I'm not going to ramble on this, like I said, I need to do a full video on pricing for sure. But the other 2 things that I do keep in mind somewhat are the value of my product. So am I the only person in the world who offers whatever product or service this is? This is a super revolutionary. If so, you need to compensate yourself for that. And then also competition. And I say that last and least importantly, because if I priced myself according to what the competition was doing, honestly, there are people out there who charge $50 a month for social media management. I can't compete with that. There's no way I could compete with that. Even if I hired somebody and had them do that and hired them at minimum wage, like it still wouldn't even out for me, and it wouldn't be my best work, I don't think. So that's just something that I don't do, but I do think it's important to keep your eye out a little bit. Don't let that run everything. Keep that kind of in the back of your head, but essentially just get a feel for what is going on in the space and in the industry, and make sure that you're not charging like $20,000 while the average is charging $500, or vice versa. I've discovered that for a really, really long time, and this is bringing it back to the whole point, is that I was undercharging for so many years, and I still do it sometimes. I definitely know that the content in my courses should be more expensive, but for me, that was never like a major piece of my business. That was never something that I thought was going to be as big of a part of my income as it has become. And so I just wanted to get the content out there. So like, these are all things that you live and you learn, and like the next things I do will probably be more and blah, blah, blah. But essentially I definitely undervalued myself. And not only is that bad for your income, but it also looks a little bad to your clients or prospective clients if you're charging really, really low. It's kind of like one of those things, you almost wonder, like, is it too good to be true, or what's wrong with this? For example, sometimes I'll go to like TJ Maxx or Marshalls, or, you know, one of those stores that has like discount kind of clothes, and I'll see like a name brand, like, you know, contemporary designer piece, and it's so cheap, like dirt cheap on clearance or whatever. The first thing that I do when I pick that up is I inspect it to see what's wrong with it, because I'm like, it has to be broken, it has to be missing something, there has to be a stain on it, it has to be a return. Because when you see something that looks that good and is that cheap, that's just human nature. And I think that it actually keeps a lot of people from really pulling the trigger and making a sale when something is priced so inappropriately. So pricing, definitely research this before you just start going willy-nilly and just charging like whatever you think sounds good at the moment. Number two, working with clients can be way more difficult than working for a boss. So a lot of people start freelancing because they want to escape the 9-to-5 grind. They don't want a boss, they want to work for themselves, and that's all good and great. You know, if that's what you're doing full time, a lot of other people do side hustles and do both or whatever. Either way, a lot of people think that this is like a very autonomous thing, that you get to work for yourself, you're in charge of everything, and that actually that not having a boss is going to make things easier. And that can be true and false. Like, there are definitely things that I love about working for myself. You don't really have to jump through as many hoops and ask, you know, approval for certain things, or, you know, everything is your show. Like, you're the director, like you decide what happens essentially with everything, which is a huge responsibility. And I think that people, they don't think about that enough, you know? Yeah, it can be amazing, but it can also be really scary if you find yourself in a position where that you're not really familiar with, or if you don't know the answer offhand, or if a client is upset with you. So clients can definitely be difficult. I love my clients so much. I feel very fortunate to finally, this is the first time, and I've been freelancing for over like 6 years now, I think. This is the first time in my entire freelancing career that I feel like I am 100% happy with how everything is going, and I feel so accepted, so respected. Like, I'm learning, like my clients are learning, like I'm really delivering. Like, this is the first time truly that like every single person on my roster I feel like so inspired and amazed with. So with that said, you know, I've been through 6 years of not always being perfect, and I'm not saying that my clients have ever been awful or that I've had any horror stories or anything like that. Well, I have had horror stories, but anyway, I'm not saying that everybody's awful or anything like that, but there have definitely been challenges along the way, and I think that people don't think about that enough. A client is essentially a boss. I mean, yes, you get to decide how many hours you're working, or what tools you get to use, or what the prices are, how much you get paid. You get to choose all that stuff, yes, but at the end of the day, you have to answer to your client. If my client calls me and I just don't feel like answering for 3 days, I'm gonna lose that client. Like, you still have to report to somebody. Now, obviously there is a little bit more flexibility, but you definitely still have to report to somebody, and you kind of have to do what they want. I mean, I say that with a grain of salt because you are your own person. You're an independent contractor. You're not their employee, and I don't want it to seem like you have to do everything that they want. It's important to keep your own professional boundaries and all that, but I mean, you do need to really work to make them happy, and the pressure is a lot higher even, because working in a traditional job, if a client isn't happy or something doesn't go 100% right, usually you have a team of people. You have a boss to lean on, you have a boss to like ask feedback from. There's different layers of things, but when it's just you, if you screw something up, it's you, and they know it. Like, there's no one you can hide behind. There's no one you can have a team, you know, project with. Like, it's just you. So it's a lot of pressure for sure. Third thing, this I'm not gonna go over too much, but taxes and financials and all of that stuff can get really, really stressful. I did do a whole Freelance Friday episode on this, so I'll be sure to link that down below if you haven't seen it yet. But essentially, long story short, save a bunch of your income. Save like 30 to 40% of your income is what I do for my taxes, because the first time I got a tax bill, there were 5 digits on it, and that freaked me out a little bit. I mean, obviously I was prepared for it. I knew it was coming, but I wasn't that prepared for it. Like, I didn't know it was gonna be that intense. So yeah, make sure to save your money, and there's a whole video on that. One tool that I will recommend to you is QuickBooks Self-Employed. I will have a link down below where you can actually get 50% off your first 6 months. It's an invaluable tool. I believe that makes it $5 a month for you for the first 6 months. So make sure to sign up using the link down below. And it's amazing. You can connect your bank account to it and swipe like left or right depending on if it's a business expense or a personal expense, and it'll categorize things for you and get everything nice for you to bring to your accountant when it's time to do taxes. And it is seriously a game changer for me. It makes my accounting so much easier and less stressful. Hashtag not an ad, but that is an affiliate link. Number 4, I wish I would have known to give my best stuff away for free. Again, going back to the money thing, like in the beginning, I was all about, I just need to make money. I just need to hustle. I just need to get clients. I need to do this. I need to do that, whatever. And I feel like I skipped a couple steps. And I think that my growth could have been a lot quicker and steadier if I would have done a couple of things first by doing things like lead magnet type things. So I finally this year made a free course. It's called How to DIY Your Social Media Strategy. Essentially that free course was just a presentation that I gave. I got asked to speak at a women's leadership event, and I basically did this presentation. I was like, this is actually kind of cool for people to know. And so I essentially repurposed my slides and recorded my presentation, like a voiceover of it, and made it a free course. It was super easy. It took me, you know, I don't know, an hour or two to actually put together. So because of that, I was like, I don't really need to charge for it. I mean, it took me like an hour, whatever. And so I started giving away the course for free, and my payment for the course essentially is the email addresses. And email addresses are a very valuable form of currency. I stress this in my newest course, Money Making Micro Influencer. We can't just keep our subscribers on Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff. Like, it's important to actually have a connection. And the currency that I think is the most valuable still to this day is email. So I collect emails, add them to a list in my MailChimp list, and it's super valuable. Not only is doing things like that good to build a list and eventually help you build your client base, but it also helps spread your message. And I think that's another thing that I got really hung up on. It's like, how do people know that I'm good and that they should hire me for social media or for coaching or whatever if nobody's worked with me? And that kind of goes back to like episode 1 of this series of how to get clients, but you do have to let people know who you are and kind of get a hook, you know, hook people in with something so that they want to eventually pay you. I would say at this point in my career, 80% of my leads for real stuff, real business stuff, real income comes from YouTube. And that's because I give really good content for free. You don't even have to give an email address for YouTube. I just ramble on here about random stuff, and people are like, hey, she kind of knows what she's talking about, and I would like to work with her. So they click on work with me, and a relationship forms. That is so important. Now, obviously there's a line that you have to draw. I'm not saying like work your butt off and give everybody a free consulting call and everybody free personalized coaching. And if you can just give your best knowledge away for free and kind of demonstrate that you know what you're talking about, that is really, really important. Now, when it comes to doing personalized things, that's really where I draw the line, because that takes up a lot of time. Making a YouTube video, okay, yes, YouTube does take a lot of time and energy and stuff, but it's like one time and then it's out there and then everybody can see it and watch it over and over and over again and get views over a period of years. Whereas a consulting call, setting up even just getting ready for a call, even just getting ready for a call, like I have to do my makeup, I have to make sure my house is clean. Like, it takes a lot to set up for one of those things. So I can't do those for free, but give away what you can for sure. Okay, and the last tip, this is funny. I heard this the other day, somebody said this and I thought it was a really weird and funny term, but it was eat your own dog food. I think that's what it was. I don't know. Essentially, do whatever it is that you say that you do it well. Think about it like this. If you want to get your hair done, would you trust a hairstylist who had like her roots showing down to here and like a really ratty hairdo and split ends and just not generally appealing looking hair? I mean, maybe, I don't know. But it's one of those things, like, you have to present what it is that you claim that you can do for other people. And this is something that I still struggle with all the time. My social media accounts for my business, my like actual business where I take clients from, is pretty much non-existent. Like, it's so bad. I mean, it's embarrassing. And that's my job. Like, I'm telling these people, hey, I can help you with your social media, but my social media is crap. So just ignore that. Do as I say, not as I do. I've even said that very, very often here on Freelance Friday. I've said that to you guys, and that's not the way to do it. I mean, I think that people understand that I spend more of my time working on client stuff than on my own, and that's why my own social media presence is so awful. I think people know that who know me. Do you know what I mean? Like, like you guys who watch this series regularly, you guys know that because you guys see in my vlogs that I'm working on stuff and I'm hustling and I'm doing this and doing that and whatever. But the random passerby who's Googling like social media marketing services and they stumble upon my Facebook page that has like 25 followers or something, they're not gonna give me a call. So it's really important. Do whatever you can. And obviously I'm speaking just for social media. I don't know whatever it is you do for your freelancing, but for social media, just get a good scheduling tool, hire a virtual assistant, hire an intern legally, pay your interns if you hire an intern, hire a freelancer, like just figure something out that works for you. Just make sure to invest in that when you can. I know it's really hard because that doesn't pay you, right? Like that doesn't give me a direct return by posting on Facebook for my own business that everybody comes to me on other channels and on my personal channels and on YouTube and stuff anyway. So it's like, I don't see the value, but I know the value. And so it's important to do whatever it is that you say that you can do for other people, demonstrate it. You're your own best example. And with that said, like you're your own best kind of test rat, if you will, or test rat, that's whatever, you know, a test dummy, whatever. You know, I try different things all the time on my own social channels just to see if they work. I go live and I try different story things and I do ads, like, you know, I do all kinds of different things. So it's nice to have an actual engaged audience who you can kind of play around with and then get better with for clients or for your job or whatever. Did that last sentence make sense? I don't think so, but I hope you guys got the point. Okay. That's the end of the video. That's all I had to say. I'm sorry if I was kind of rushing, but I did want to let you guys know it's Black Friday today. And so I am having a little bit of sale. I'm going to do 20% off both of my courses. You can use the code. I actually haven't made it yet, so I'm going to put it right here on the screen. I think it'll just be like Black Friday, maybe. I think I've already used that. It'll be right here. The code to use. So you can use that code, get 20% off through Cyber Monday. So through like the end of the day on Cyber Monday. And then also I'm doing something that I've never done before. I don't think I've ever done this before. I do coaching and consulting calls. They're 1-hour calls scheduled via Zoom meetings. You can do video or you can just do voice calls. I do those all the time and I've been getting a really, really high demand for them. I don't know why. I haven't changed anything about it. I haven't changed the pricing of it or anything like that. So I have no idea why, but I've been getting booked for them a lot lately. And these are just one-on-one time. So come with a list of questions, send me an agenda in advance, let me know what you want to talk about. We can do a strategy session. We can do a critique of like your social channels. It's totally up to you. I like you to be in the driver's seat. So anyway, I usually offer this for $75 for an hour. But for Black Friday, I'm going to do $50 for the first 10 people. I can't do more than that because like I said, I've been getting booked for a lot anyway, so that's kind of a first come first serve thing. I don't have a million hours in the day. So how that works is you click on consulting call, you'll pay for it there, enter the code, which I'm gonna put right here because I don't have that here. I don't have that created yet either. And then I will follow up with you within 48 hours. It's usually the same day, but I just have to say 48 hours. And I'll work with you to get it scheduled within the next week or so. So yeah, that's all for Black Friday stuff. And then the last thing I just want to tell you guys is I know Freelance Friday has been a little bit inconsistent, kind of always has been on YouTube. But if you haven't heard or if you don't watch my vlogs, I've talked about this a lot in my vlogs and on my other social channels. I am launching an audio version of Freelance Friday. I've gotten a lot of requests from you guys and from other people just saying that they really want a podcast version of this series, and I'm so excited by it. Like, I was like, okay, it'll just be a thing. At first I was just gonna rip the audio from my videos and just put them up on SoundCloud or something. And you guys know me, well, if you know me, you know that that I am kind of obsessive with stuff, and I say it's gonna be a little tiny just side project and it turns into my whole life. So I've been scripting, recording, working on promotion, building websites for this podcast. So it should be launching in January. I will still be doing videos, but I think you guys will like the podcast version better. It's a lot more structured. I'm a lot more focused. It's just a lot better. And I am done talking. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload, and I don't have anything else to say. I'm really tired. Thanks for watching.